So this is the massing family now, opened within Family Editor, and you can see the different parameters here for the top radius and the bottom radius, and the angle. The height of the lower portion is actually controlling the distance between these two levels, and the rise parameter for the top there is actually that point. The offset of that point is controlled by the rise parameter, and we basically have a series of reference lines which by create form then we're creating surfaces, which is what you can see in the project from the massing family. Now to create this arch here, I started off with 3 points, something quite simple, but when you compared that with the photographs, it didn't really give the shape I wanted, so I had to add another 3 points each side, giving 9 points in total to get it to look like the real life building fairly well. And these points, because they're hosted on reference lines, which will resize as we change the proportions of this family, and the points are hosted on those reference lines, and their position is set here as a fraction of the distance along the length of that line, so that the arch will scale up proportionally with the whole tent structure. So that's a little look at the family. What I want to do now is to just take you through the first few steps of beginning to build this family. I don't think we've got the time to do the whole thing, but let's do the basics. So we want a new conceptual mass, and we'll use the metric mass family there. And we're going to start off by making some reference lines. We'll make them quite long because the points we host on these lines, if they get pushed off the end of the line, the family will break, so we want to start them quite long. Okay, and we can just host some points on the reference lines, and we need another point there as well, so I'll put that on there. And these ones I want to show the reference planes, the normal reference plane. Okay. So now I need angle parameters. So here we go. I'll put some dimensions on, select those, and then label them to give us, and I'll just call this A for the angle. Okay, and this, for some reason this jumps to the other side, and they both become the same value. And once I've got those controlled like that, I can set them to, and they'll equalize to the same. They're both controlled by the same parameter. For a hexagon I need this set at 30, so that the total angle there is 60. I'll get six sides. Okay, now I need to get the bottom radius dimension in, and the important thing here is that I want to dimension from here, that point to that point, but I want my dimension to be linked to this reference line, so when the angle changes it doesn't get confused and start to break. So I need to set the work plane there to that. See if I show, that's my work plane. And then I'm going to start with that one, so I've got my alignment fixed. and just dimension like that. Then I'll set the work plane again. There we go. And dimension from there to there. Now that should work. Select those, label them. Yeah, we're going to call this R1 for the bottom radius. Let's use capitals. And again, I can add 6.5 meters set. Yeah, okay. Now I want another level, so I can just hit Control here, which will copy that up. Okay, and I need to control that level as well with the parameter, so I'm going to set my work plane there and dimension from that level to that level. Let's bring it into there. Select the dimension, label it. We're going to use H for height, and let's give that a kind of value. We'll call that 6 meters. Okay. So what we want is, we want to take that and we want a copy of that in the same place on the upper level. So I'll just copy that to the clipboard and then paste a line to pick level, and I'll pick that level. So there we go. Now we need some angle parameters again. Oops, I've not got an angle there. So I'm not sure what angle to go from here to. Okay, I'm on the wrong reference plane. I need to reset the work plane to there. That's my mistake. Okay, an angle there, an angle here. And I want to link them to the same parameter that I've already got there. Okay, so let's just test this out a little bit and before we go too far. So if that was to go to 20, okay, everything seems to be working all right. Okay, so I'm just undo those two and stay with that up. Right, now I need to put other 2 points posted on there and there. I can show their reference planes, and then I want to set the work plane to that reference line and dimension from there to there. And the same from there to there. And then give these parameters. Add parameter, we want R2 this time. And let's give that a default value of 4 meters. Okay, so the next stage is to just select these points in pairs. And spline my points, make it a reference line. It's better to have reference lines. They don't then get consumed by the geometry, they'll persist. And if you change your mind about something, you don't have to rebuild the whole thing again. Supply my points is reference line. Bingo. Create form. There you go. So that's my basic surface there, and it should be working nicely with all the parameters. Even if I give them quite extreme values, everything is resizing. It's not breaking. It responds. You can make all kinds of shapes by this kind of method.